Good morning, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank Jim and Strobe for those introductions, and more importantly, for their leadership of this institution and their unwavering support of this endeavor. And I want to add my welcome to Brookings to everyone who's in the audience today and the people who are watching on the web. You've worked closely with this program over the past decade, and we really treasure your guidance, your collaboration, and to be frank, your friendship. 1 year from today, the United States will elect its 44th president, the first election since 1952 when no incumbent president or vice president will run as the nominee of either political party. But the 2008 election is important for other reasons. My talk today will offer the following propositions. First, dynamic, often unsettling forces are transforming the world in which we live, posing stark, urgent challenges for the nation. Second, to prosper, nations must leverage four key assets: innovation, human capital, infrastructure, and quality places, which concentrate at an unprecedented level in metropolitan areas. Third, across the U.S., city and suburban leaders are at the cutting edge of innovation, yet they are, for the most part, going it alone, since the federal government is outdated and out of step with rapid change. And finally, the U.S. needs a blueprint for American prosperity, a new federal partnership with state, local, and private sector leaders to strengthen metropolitan economies, build a strong and diverse middle class, and grow in environmentally sustainable ways. As Jim said, at a time of great national challenge, where the stakes cannot be higher for our country, we need our federal government to be purposeful, deliberate, disciplined, and cognizant of the new spatial realities in America. In sum, we are a full-fledged metro nation and need to change our mental map of the United States from a union of 50 states to a network of 363 highly connected, hyperlinked, and economically integrated metropolitan areas. The calculus is quite simple. Our nation's ability to grow and prosper and meet the great social and environmental challenges of our time is at risk unless these metropolitan engines of national prosperity are healthy and vital. We are a metro nation, and it is high time to start acting like one. So let me begin with the initial frame. Dynamic forces pose stark challenges that test American prosperity. Now, America begins a new century in an enviable position. Our $13.2 trillion economy is the world's largest by far. We represent just 5% of the world's population, but generate 20% of the world's economic output. Now, this compares well with our major competitors, countries like Japan, Germany, and China. Yet beneath these positive realities lie signs of intense disruption and structural change. Three challenges stand out. First, our ability to extend prosperity is tested by rising competition abroad and continued restructuring at home. We are experiencing a global economic revolution. The global labor market has literally doubled since 1980, as previously isolated nations, China, India, Brazil, Russia, have embraced mainstream capitalism. China alone accounted for roughly 30% of global economic growth during the first half of the current decade. And fully half of the Fortune 500 companies in the United States have established offshoring relationships in India. Both countries and others aspire to compete directly with us at the highest, most knowledge-intensive levels of the economy. Economic changes abroad have fundamentally altered what Americans do at home. Since 1970, the share of our labor force employed in manufacturing has declined from 25% to 10%. Today, service industries employ more than 2/3 of our workers. Now, while this shift has enabled many Americans to be employed in high-value service sectors, such as finance, consulting, and legal, many more are employed in lower-skilled, low-paying niches, such as hospitality, childcare, and food services. Our people are anxious and uncertain about the nation's economic future, and rightly so. Second, our ability to share prosperity is threatened by widening income inequities and a growing demographic divide on education and skills. With economic changes, wages have grown more unequal. U.S. workers without a high school diploma saw their real wages stay virtually the same over 30 years. By contrast, individuals with a college degree experienced significant real wage growth over this period. Our changing economy has created what we call an iron law of wages, namely, the more you learn, the more you earn. The real income gains, of course, are at the upper end of the economy. The top 300,000 earners in our country collectively have almost as much income as the bottom 150 million, nearly half the population. Now, given changing demographics, income inequality could actually worsen over time. An estimated 51 million baby boomers will retire by 2030, a number greater than the cumulative population of our 25 smallest states. Now, who will take their place? A younger, more diverse workforce. By 2050, African Americans and Hispanics will grow from about 25% to nearly 40% of the working age population and will account more than 90% of total growth in that age range. Yet the rates of educational attainment are lowest among these fast-growing groups. In 2006, only 13% of Hispanics and 18% of African Americans between the ages of 25 and 44 held a bachelor's degree, compared with 34% of non-Hispanic whites and 59% of Asians in the same age group. Our workers are anxious and uncertain about their own futures and those of their children, and rightly so. And finally, our ability to sustain prosperity is challenged by rapid population and development growth. The United States already faces hard choices on the environment. We are the world's largest energy consumer and the largest emitter per capita of greenhouse gases. This is not just about coal-fired power plants or lagging auto technology. Our sprawling patterns of development help explain why the U.S. continues to rank first among major economies in per capita carbon dioxide emissions, with roughly double the emissions rate of the United Kingdom and Germany. Our projected growth will exacerbate these challenges. Unlike European nations, the U.S. is projected to grow rapidly by another 120 million people by 2050. Incredibly, that is the equivalent of growing another Northeast and Midwest in just the next 43 years. It is estimated that just between now and 2030, we will develop another 213 billion square feet of homes, retail facilities, office buildings, and other structure. That's double the amount of built space in the United States today. How we accommodate a growing population and economy, whether we break the pattern of sprawl as usual, will significantly influence whether we as a nation secure our energy independence and forge solutions to global warming and climate change. Our citizens are worried about the environment they are passing on to the next generation, and rightly so.